full the station is now with international flags, given that all the partners are represented? And how else have you marked, either by dinner or otherwise, the arrival of all the international partners on board?
Well, I can start by saying that it's great having everybody here. It's great having the extra bodies and the extra noise, and for us it's 3 new crewmates to share the adventure and share the workload. But as for the flags, we've had the international flags up here for a while, and having our new colleagues come gives them just much more meaning. We see the T-shirts that people are wearing, and we know what agencies they're representing and their the pride of their countries, and so we feel that up here with them arriving. If you want to.
And a follow-up on, for the 3 that were already on board, how has your morning routine changed now that there's 6 people and rather than 3, or has your routine changed at all?
Well, I don't think the routine has changed that much. We still get up, we scramble to read our daily instructions and to grab some coffee and breakfast, but there's a lot more of us, and we still tend to congregate in the Russian service module for breakfast, and it's just a great place to be and to start the day down there. There's just a lot more people to share some stories.
Station, this is JSCPAO. Please stand by for a voice check from KSCPAO.
Station, this is KSCPAO. How do you hear me?
KC, this is Station. We hear you loud and clear, and we're ready for questions.
Yes, this is Marcia Dunn of the Associated Press. Question for you, Dr. Barrett. What was it like for you to go from living with 3 people to 6, and in a while you'll have 7 more for a 13? What is that like for you transitioning in general?
Well, for me personally, I feel very much at home. I come from a large family, and I'm used to a lot of activity and busyness and a lot of laughter, and we certainly have that now with these guys coming. It's also very similar to our training venue. We spend a lot of time training in Star City, and we live rather communally there, and we've all spent a lot of time at the table cooking for each other and sharing stories for training, and now it feels very, very comfortable to have these guys up here pretty much living the same life as far as day-to-day activities go, with the exception of being able to fly through the station and great views.
I'm afraid I'll have to follow up with how big is your family on Earth, and what do you think it'll be like with 13, a grand total of 13 on board?
Well, we're a family of 7 on Earth, and up here, the station is very large, and 6 people still don't quite fill it. It's a very comfortable venue for 6 people to work with, I would say, pretty intensive timelines, and these guys got to work right away, so I can tell you for sure that that's true. With 13 people up here, it'll be a challenge. Of course, we'll have the added volume of the shuttle added to the stack, and it'll be a massive stack. But it'll be busy, and there'll be a lot of coordination, a lot of activity, and a lot of patience. But these are the guys to do that.
And can I ask you, I understand you took your first sip of recycled water a few weeks ago. What was it like, and how often are you drinking the urine and condensation processed water?
Well, first of all, the water is great. It's probably as good as or better than anything you'd buy out of a fancy bottle on the ground, and we use it every day. We try to use our water to keep our flow running and to keep our processors primed and happy. And we're all hydrating drinks and hydrating some of our sublimated food. And it's a very convenient system. We get hot water, cold water dispensed in the quantities that we want. And absolutely no complaints about the water up here.
Hi, guys. It's Bill Harwood with CBS News, and I'd like to ask the 3 newcomers, Bob Thirsk and Frank DeVena and Roman, please, what your impressions are now that you're here with 6 people. It's obviously a momentous occasion for the space station, but what are your personal feelings now that you've been there a couple of days?
Well, in one respect, the space station looks similar to what I expected. You know, the training simulators that we have in the various countries are very good, and they give us some good background training. On the other hand, the place looks completely different than what I expected, in that there's a lot of stowage all over the place. There's a joke that we have in the astronaut program that spacecraft are held together with duct tape and Velcro. What I think in this case here, the station's held together with Ziploc bags, because everything seems to be in Ziploc bags here.
Yeah, it's a great place to be here. I was here, of course, 6 years ago, but the station has grown so much, and we have all these new fantastic libraries here. But still, the Russian segment is the same, and it's a great place to be in, to meet in the morning, to have our breakfast and coffee, and then from there go on with our work.
Thanks. Let me ask, well, I don't know if Roman wants to. Okay, well, let me ask one more then. For Mike Barrett, you know, anything has growing pains, and I realize with the space station, 6 people have been there before during Soyuz taxi flights and things like that. But do you see anything yet that strikes you after a couple of days of things that maybe need a little more work, or is it really working out as smoothly as you guys had hoped?
Well, it's a good question. There's a lot of things that we weren't sure how they were going to work until we actually tried them. And one good example is we needed another place to eat, because the Russian segment, the service module there, is kind of a do-everything module. There's exercise machines and, of course, experiments being done right next to the galley table. So during the days, we won't all be able to eat there as a crew of 6. But we've set up another table in Node 1, and quite frankly, we didn't know how it was going to work until these guys arrived and we tried it out. So we've done a lot of tweaks to our food system, and right now we're finding out that it does work pretty well. And I think there'll be a lot of little activities like that we're going to continually make better. So I'd say we're starting out functional, and we're going to make it more efficient and a little bit more palatable as we go along. But certainly no showstoppers. It's very comfortable having 6 people here right now.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes questions from NASA headquarters. Please stand by for a voice check from Canadian Space Agency, PAO.
Station, this is the Canadian Space Agency. How do you hear me?
And CSA, we have you loud and clear on station, and we're ready for questions.
Hi there, this is Geneviève Beauchemin from CTV. Yes, a question for Dr. Thirsk. I wanted to ask you if you could lay out for us your daily routine. You've already been asked about what it's like living with 6 as opposed to 3, but if you could just go through what you kind of do with your crewmates there throughout your day.
The morning starts at 6 o'clock, Greenwich Mean Time. For the first hour or so, we just do hygiene things. You know, we clean up a little bit and get something to eat. And then from 7 until 8, we would look at the messages that the various mission controls have sent up to us, as well as the daily plan or the schedule of activities, and take a quick look through all the procedures and the notes that we need to perform all those activities adequately. And then at 8 o'clock, we talk to the 4 different mission control centers around the world for some last-minute planning advice that they have to pass on to us, and we get down to work. We break midday for lunch. We just had lunch a few minutes ago in the Russian module. And then we'll continue until early evening with more work experiments that we're activating, systems that we're repairing or operating, and also physical fitness. You know that it's important to maintain the integrity of our bones and muscles in space, and we can only do that by devoting a couple hours every day to that. Finally, in the evening, we'll tag up one more time with the 4 mission control centers around the world for reporting to them what we were able to accomplish and any troubles we might have had. And then the last hour or two is just maybe email with our family, or maybe a phone call with our families back home, and taking a look over the schedule for tomorrow, just getting ready. So it's a steady pace, but a lot gets accomplished. The big trick is that we need to stay very efficient in our movements, efficient in our planning, in order to get a horrendous amount of work done in a day.